Overnight, Dandadan's Momo Ayase went from a brand new face to one of the most popular characters in anime. In fact, if you were to pick one, you could say she's already the shonen heroine of this new era that's just beginning. While many spend entire series trying to win fans over, Ayase did it instantly. And it wasn't luck, it was because she's the first in years to feel like a true standard for what a shonen heroine can be. But why? It's not just the TikTok dances, the viral cosplays, or the internet hype. Ayase works because she's layered in a way shonen girls rarely are. Likeable, but flawed. Strong, but vulnerable. Mature in some ways, and reckless in others. She's not just another quirky girl. She feels like the closest thing we've had to a benchmark for what a good shonen female can be. And the wildest part? We get all of this within her first few minutes on screen. We literally open the series with her being unable to lend her boyfriend cash, so he says her body is a valid substitute. What a winner. And her reaction isn't just shooting that down, but roundhouse kicking his head, only to get super kicked in return, then dumped. It's a chaotic beginning to a chaotic show, but how she responds to this shows what kind of person she is. Our first impression of her carries into the very next scene, which builds the foundation of her character. She's pouting and dragging herself through the halls when she sees someone getting bullied in class. Now, after what she just went through, it'd be totally understandable to keep going and move on with your day. It's not her problem. But that's not who Momo is. She steps in, defends the guy, and gets the bullying to stop. She doesn't wait around or expect to be rewarded for it either, she just dips. Immediately, they've already shown us, despite the Gyaru exterior, despite some immaturity and recklessness, she has a kind heart. But hey, this is still a teen and she is in a bad mood. When that guy, Okarun, comes after her with his tinfoil hat and talks about aliens, she blows him off and lashes out. But again, we see who she really is. She realizes she crossed a line. She wasn't mad at him, she was mad at her situation and apologizes on the spot. This quick glimpse of who she is sets the stage for why her backstory feels so fitting. One of the fascinating parts about her is she's one of those characters where once you learn her story, everything about her and how she acts falls into place. Her parents? They're dead. The grandma who raised her? She's weird and made Momo do ritual poses for paranormal strength growing up. Boys laughed at her for that, even the one she liked, so she freaked out. She denounced the occult and didn't talk to her grandma for a long time. Yet, she's still incredibly defensive of her. Ayase wasn't actually mad she was made fun of, but that these kids were mocking her grandma, but she channeled that anger the wrong way. This tells us so much about her, why she keeps people at arm's length, her protective nature, why she struggles opening up, her fear of unrequited love, why she thinks Epstein didn't kill himself. We'll get deeper into a bunch of this throughout this video. Even with all the emotional weight behind her actions, she's still a teenage girl at the end of the day and acts like one. She's sassy, defiant, and strong-willed, even when she's about to be essayed by aliens. When a demon named Turbo Granny steals Okarun's dong, yes, you heard that correctly, she teases him about it. She still has plenty of superficial concerns. When she says things like, "What would Ken do? That helps me act," you think, okay, asking yourself what your favorite actor would do in paranormal situations is pretty dumb, but I can totally see a teen thinking that way. She's also vulnerable. Like I said, she has a hard time opening up because she's been rejected in the past and she fears that happening again. Plus, right when we met her, she did get assaulted and dumped. Despite that, she clearly wants to be transparent with her feelings. It's obvious physical touch is her love language. You see it in all the little gestures between her and Okarun. Her embarrassment when he shows up at her work. Her touching his hand in the car and not pulling it away. Her grabbing his hand when he wants to walk her home. These aren't just cute moments. They show she wants to push through these insecurities. But she's afraid. She's lost loved ones. She's pushed loved ones away. She's been rejected and mocked. This fear of unrequited love is the single biggest obstacle she needs to overcome, which is why the fact that she does push forward with Okarun feels earned. In this world with aliens, ghosts, kaiju, and living mannequins, none of that is what she's most afraid of, and she actively works to confront that fear, even if it's uncomfortable to do so. On top of being well written, They're just straight up fun to watch together. When she apologizes to him after lashing out, Okarun laughs in her face for believing in ghosts, but aliens, they're totally real. So they make the deal that kicks off the whole series. They want to prove to each other which is real and which isn't, and turns out they both are, and a hell of a lot more creepy things are too. Something I've never really noticed before, but it sticks out with Momo, is she always feels appropriately scared. She's brave when there's opportunity to be, and she's afraid when there's reason for it. That might sound odd to compliment, but a lot of times those things get exaggerated or are handled inconsistently. But in an acid trip series like this, it actually stands out as a grounding part of her character. It's an encounter with aliens that unlock her spiritual powers, and I think that aspect of her character is handled beautifully. She can see aura, oh hey there Genu, and extend these psychic hands from her to contain or grab things. Honestly, her constantly using this ability to contain the demon that gets inside Okarun in the first few episodes is a really underrated feat. Not only does it take power and control, but conviction. It's usually an issue with females in Shonen, but Ayase strikes a perfect balance of competence while also needing help. She's strong, but not too strong. She needs to be saved, but not so much that you'd think she's Joel Embiid in a playoff game. It's the kind of balance many shonen never fully realized, which is why Ayase feels like such an upgrade compared to others. The versatility of her ability is underrated too, because she can use it in creative ways which highlights her intelligence. She's clever, but not in an in-your-face kind of way. She's not an Eisen-level master planner, she thrives at improvising on the spot. A few examples I liked were when they're being chased by a giant crab monster, she heats it up to stiffen its muscles, or she spits hot water at the demon Evil Eye when he's choking her, knowing that will cause him to change forms. Or when she uses her spirit hands to grab a moving train to escape Turbo Granny. But beneath that is something simpler. At her core, Ayase is simply a good person. She cares deeply, she's supportive. She may be awkward and brash at times, but her protective instincts shine through. She is constantly worried about others when in danger, always putting their well-being before her own. Okarun, her childhood friend Gigi, her grandma, doesn't matter. When someone needs to stand up or be stood up for, she's always there to do it. When Okarun wants to face Turbo Granny to retrieve his missing dong, she says, "Ask for help. I can't leave you alone. I'm going with," and that's endearing. Another time, Okarun tells her about how he's always wanted friends, and it means something to her. She realizes how important her interaction with him has been. She roots for him. When Okarun says he's going to get strong enough to protect Gigi from the demonic presence inside him, she says the same thing. They can handle anything because they're a great duo. Moments like this show her determination impacts her personality. She's headstrong in a good way because it's not mean-spirited. She fights for what and who she believes in. A big thing that helps her win people over is she always apologizes when she messes up, too. While she's obviously immature in a lot of ways, that part of her is very mature. It's hard to describe, but she just feels like a real person. She'll be extra motivated when someone close to her gets hurt, and she'll overthink a goodbye to the point that she feels the need to clarify what it means. She's appreciative of those around her, and she can act like a child. She'll do these cutesy things like wait around for Okarun, and shortly after, overreact and push him away. She's responsible with others, and yet can't keep a job because she always clashes with management. It's the combination of these things, the constant balance, that makes her so interesting. Because you can't simply define her as one thing. You wouldn't expect it, but her jealousy when others show interest in Okarun is one of the better written aspects of her character. Simple miscommunications can make a big impact on her because she has such a fear of being rejected or losing a loved one that she's always assuming the worst possible outcome. When Ira, another girl who crushes on Okarun, is introduced, a large part of why they butt heads is because Ayase fears losing him. And yeah, people may say her relationship with him starts on flimsy ground, but isn't that a lot of teen love? She literally dated the guy in the beginning because he looked like her celebrity crush. The fact that Okarun has the same name as that crush isn't just comedic, it tracks with everything we know about her. Plus there's, the fact that the day they met, they saved each other's lives from otherworldly entities and all. It starts off superficially, but over time, it becomes a genuine connection where instead of valuing these outward traits, she favors valuing the inner ones. This relationship is a big part of the show, of this video, and Ayase's character, but it is not the driving force behind any of it. It's simply the easiest way for me to point out many of her character traits. She is not a love interest prop. She's not introduced to the story to be a perfect girl to support Okarun or be saved by him. They each save each other a lot. It really is a balanced partnership. All of that makes her stand out in comparison to a lot of typical shonen heroines. Many are useless or sexualized. Throughout this video, I think I've shown there's no chance she's useless. As for sexualization, that's more complicated. She has some extreme moments, especially the obvious one in episode 1 where aliens strip her down. But in her case, it's not so much a gag as it is highlighting she's a victim in a precarious position. All the biggest times this happens are portrayed in a negative light. If fan service is a concern for you, I think she clears that bar and many others. Shonen heroines have been playing catch up to their male counterparts for so long, but Ayase is someone who's closing the gap. Now subscribe or die.